After being injured, the man unexpectedly awakened the ability to control sand. It's powerful enough to easily pierce through the body of a sandworm. But when I first got this power, it was only rated as the lowest F rank. But I was the only one who knew the power of sand was so much more. As long as I keep getting stronger, I could definitely become the king of this new world. And the reason I'm so confident is because this world is now filled with sand. It's all because hundreds of years ago, a flash of light devoured all life on Earth. What was once a blue home for all living things turned into a giant, desert tomb. The few humans who survived could only build their own fortresses. I sighed to myself, if you're going to choose destruction, why not go all the way? Why leave behind these insect-like creatures? The moment I said that, I was slammed against the vehicle's door. The man laughed, saying his hand slipped. But he told me to give him my name before he'd apologize. I said, my name is Xian. What do you want? The man burst out laughing. Why do you only have one name? Don't you have several daddies right here in front of you? His words made me furious. He sat down right next to me. Since we're all in the same boat, we should get along. He started guessing I was a criminal, or maybe a fugitive. The charge? Probably violence, fraud, theft. The next moment, I punched him square in the face. His body went flying. Since you're so curious about my crime, I'll tell you what it is. I'm guilty of murder. Strictly speaking, though, it wouldn't be considered murder. Because in this place, only the strong are considered human. I thought I'd killed some nobody. But I never expected him to have connections. His older brother is Li Ji Riang. That terrified me. His brother was actually one of the strong. The kind of being this world calls human. And the awakened are the gods above them. Rumor had it Li Ji Riang was looking for me. I just never thought he'd actually find me. Just then, blood splattered in front of my face. I couldn't understand why my own fist was bleeding. I clearly hit him. Before I could even react, his hand shot out and grabbed my face. With a slight squeeze, he flipped my entire body over. The force of that blow sent my insides churning. It was clear this guy was no ordinary person. I went to so much trouble to get away from the awakened, just to escape to this place. And yet, an awakened still caught up to me. Suddenly, the bus started shaking violently. Then it began to roll out of control. That bald guy still had no idea what was going on. He cursed out the driver, yelling at him to drive properly. But the driver was panicking just as much. The bus was shaking because it had just been swallowed by a giant monster. Everyone was terrified, trying desperately to escape. But it was too late. Endless waves of sand wrapped around them, holding them tight. Back in the New Seoul district, running into an awakened and getting devoured by a sandworm wasn't considered anything special. That's just how this world works. The strong take everything from the weak. So even if I die here, I'm just another weakling. No one cares when we die. If only I'd been a little bit stronger, I wouldn't be dying like this. But there's no point in thinking about that now, because I'm already on my last breath. Suddenly, my eyes shot open. I hadn't been buried by the sand. Instead, I was dragged out by the sand. But that's not all. I feel like my body has gone through a huge change. For a moment there, I couldn't breathe. I don't know how, but I could sense everything outside. At first, I thought it was an illusion, but after I focused carefully, I realized I could sense the iron tower and the buildings outside. My heart suddenly started pounding, and my vision grew sharper. In time with my breathing, every scene from the outside world flooded into my mind. I had no idea what was happening. I could even sense the planets beyond our universe. It was as if I had become the Earth itself, or maybe the embodiment of the entire planet. By the looks of it, I must have awakened. So, I raised my hands and began to gather my power. Countless grains of sand gathered at my fingertips. The next moment, I unleashed a shockwave that blasted right through the monster's body. I only had one thought in my mind: survive. In this world where everything has turned to sand, I must survive. Even if a terrifying monster is blocking my path, I will absolutely not back down here. I carefully sensed my entire body. I could clearly feel my own heartbeat. Every cell in my body was buzzing with energy. There was no doubt. I must have become an awakened now. The monster before me was thrashing wildly in the desert. I was like an ant in front of it. Its massive mouth quickly opened towards me. I immediately slammed my hands on the ground. But what I found strange was, just as I was about to counterattack, a man pushed my head down. He told me to get out of the way and leave immediately. Right after that, I felt a sudden, immense force send me flying. My body slammed hard into the desert. That crazy human actually sent me flying. And I didn't even know when he got close to me. My eyes then widened in shock as I looked up. I couldn't believe it. The monster was actually bleeding a lot of black blood. And that man from earlier had defeated such a powerful monster all by himself. With a single kick, a shockwave slammed the monster into the ground. I don't know if the world has gone crazy, or if I have. That man actually took down the sandworm so easily. It's the first time I've ever seen an awakened as powerful as him. At some point, a blue-haired woman appeared beside me. She said the man's name is Jang Yongbom, and he's her captain. I instinctively turned to look at her, wondering who this woman was. And why do these people always manage to sneak up on me without me noticing? The moment this woman grabbed my arm, I could feel her astonishing strength. I also felt my arm growing cold. I told her to let go immediately. But she refused to let go. Zhang Yongbom's sharp gaze shifted towards us. What a troublesome woman. I thought I told you to just attack it directly. The brain is near the mouth. A monster like this is easy to kill. The woman said she couldn't do it. Besides, there's only one survivor here. Then, she kicked out. She sent me flying, then used her martial arts to pin me tightly to the ground, unable to move. I didn't even understand what they were trying to do. The woman chuckled. Now, I wonder what this friend's level and abilities are. Let me try and guess. But she quickly realized there was a serious problem. This guy in front of her, he's not an awakened? It's because she noticed I didn't have any rank insignia on my arm. I think she must be blind. How could an awakened not have a rank insignia? Just then, a vehicle pulled up, and someone on it shouted. What are you all still messing around for? The sun's about to set. The blue-haired woman asked what to do with me. If they just left me here, I'd probably die. The captain, Zhang Yongbom, glanced at me. At the same time, I met his gaze. Zhang Yongbom spoke up. Let him come with us. He's heading to the mines anyway. And so, as the sun set, a vehicle drove through the desert. The young man with glasses who had spoken earlier shouted angrily, why do you guys always act on your own? Didn't I tell you? The sun is almost down. Listening to them argue, I sat in the back, tied up tight. With a flick of my will, I controlled the sand, forming a small vortex in front of my eyes. Then, I released my focus, and the sand fell. It seems I can move the sand with my mind. I must have awakened an ability. But I don't get it. Why did that blue-haired girl say she couldn't see my rank insignia? I took a closer look, and it does seem a little different. Especially the color. This doesn't look like. It's orange, the same color as the sand. The glow of the rank insignia changes depending on the awakened's class. The magic class is blue. The combat class is red. But occasionally, there are awakened of other classes too. I can't believe it. My ability is to control sand. I've never heard of an ability like this, even though the epaulette shows it's the lowest F rank. But I can feel it. This ability has limitless potential, just like the desert itself. At that thought, I let out a cold laugh. I'll make this world wait for me. Until this power becomes completely mine, and before that moment comes, I'll hide and endure. This world is going to become my own personal stage. In a world of nothing but desert, I've awakened the power to control sand. I'm basically the chosen one. Soon enough, I arrived at the magic crystal mine. Everything here seemed pretty normal. As soon as I arrived, I was told to join a group. Those two mysterious people from before were staring at me. They thought I was strange. So many people had been devoured. And yet, only one person survived. Captain Zhang Yongbom felt this was definitely not a coincidence. Because when he killed the monster, he noticed something suspicious. It was a hole in the monster's body. Zhang Yongbom kind of regretted not asking for my name. He had a feeling he'd see that guy again. Before long, night had fallen. I thought this place was just tunnels, but I didn't expect there to be a place where people actually lived. It wasn't until this moment that the ropes on my hands were finally untied. After untying my ropes, he just left. Are you really just going to let me go like this? He said it wasn't his problem. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you. Even if you tear this place apart, it's none of my business. Whatever. I didn't want to waste my time with that idiot anyway. I decided to just wander around for a bit. And maybe find something to eat. Before long, I found a food stall. Just as I was about to look up and ask the owner for the price, I noticed a poster on the wall. It's written on it, "Let our labor make the new soul shine." The owner laughed. So, what do you think? Did that line grab your attention, too? He thinks people who believe that are ridiculous. The energy source for new soul isn't magicite. I asked him what he meant by that. If it's not magicite, then what energy source is it? He pointed at me. Little mice like you, just do as you're told. If there aren't enough of you, you automatically replenish your numbers. Isn't that a wonderful source of energy? I sarcastically told him he sure knows a lot. I suppose your classmates are already swimming in the underworld, huh? He seemed intrigued and asked me, how did the sandworm's guts feel? Did it feel like being back in your mother's womb? I didn't think the story of me being swallowed would have already spread here. The old man laughed at me. You were about to become sandworm shit. And yet you ran here to take refuge, treating this place like some kind of safe harbor. The old man told me to look behind me. It's not so easy to make money here, you know. Behind the old man, there was nothing but a pile of garbage. Are you going senile? Why are you having me look at a pile of trash? What's there to see? He said he collected these things piece by piece. This is what happens to the folks who come here. And it's your future, kid. Everyone who comes here holds out at first, refusing to go down into the mines. You know how it is, don't you? The magicite mining area is that kind of place. Thinking going down there is a one-way ticket to death, they sell everything they own. They hold out, and in the end, they even sell themselves. When all is said and done, it's all for nothing. It doesn't solve a single problem. The few things they have just get used up, bit by bit. In the end, everyone meets the same fate, muttering that it would have been less painful to just be swallowed by the mines. As the saying goes, a man leaves his name behind when he dies. But when garbage dies, it leaves nothing behind but more garbage. The old man even said he was looking forward to seeing what I'd leave behind. I couldn't be bothered to chat with him. I asked him how much the food I just ate was. He said it would be 10 souls. I honestly thought this old man was crazy. What? Did you sprinkle gold dust on this meat or something? He said things here are much more expensive than gold. But how could I possibly be ripped off by him? Using such rotten, cheap meat and still daring to extort me. Are you trying to scam me just because I'm new here? You really are senile. Do I look like I have any money? As I was speaking, countless people began to raise the knives in their hands. They were all vendors and workers from here. At that moment, I still hadn't noticed the movement behind me. I was still saying, I'm not giving you this money. You do what you want. The next moment, the figures behind me closed in fast. Made me realize in an instant, something was wrong with this crowd. The old man in front of me let out a little laugh. Didn't you think it was strange? How can a bag of old bones like me run a business so openly in a mining camp? When I turned my head again, I saw that the people behind me were all holding knives. Their sharp eyes were fixed on me. The old man gave a wicked smile. Come on now, young man. Let me see what you're going to do now. I slammed my fist on the table. My address for him changed from old geezer to old sir. Please, calm down. How could I possibly have that much money? Let's talk about this. Of course, the old man knew I didn't have enough money. But he's not a bad guy, really. You can also trade with other things. For instance, that magic crystal in your pocket looks pretty good. I thought, well, I'll be damned. So that's what he was after, setting a trap for me. The old man crooked his finger, signaling for me to hand it over. He said he'd make an exception and give me a fair price. I told him to cut the crap. Do you have any idea how much I went through to protect this thing? I was hoping the old man could be a little flexible. Isn't buying on credit a thing? Just as I was talking, a hand grabbed my head. With a loud bang, he slammed my head down hard onto the table. He was, you could say, a hot-tempered boss. You don't have to listen to this kid's nonsense. Just bury him. The next thing you know, his hand was severed, because I'd unleashed my sandstorm jet ability. The crowd looked on in terror as they were handed the severed limb, and I had sliced the old man in front of me in two at the waist. Not only that, but my power slaughtered every single person here. You all started it. You can't blame me for this. But, that was all just in my head. The big guy just looked at me, speechless. What's with you? You've been spacing out this whole time. Was I daydreaming? Left with no other choice. I had to toss him the magic crystal. Here's the magic crystal you wanted so badly. Now it's yours. The old man inspected the quality of the crystal. In the end, he offered a price of 100 sol. But this magic crystal was worth at least 300 sol. But what could I do? This was his turf. Whatever he says, goes. Then, I slammed my head onto the table. If I really wanted to, killing this old man would be easy. But I absolutely couldn't make a move right now. I started to bargain with him. Come on, give me a little extra for the change. Just then, the old man became more agreeable. He told me to go to the back and pick one thing. It would count as my change. I could only pick one item. I could take whatever I wanted. I rummaged around for a long time. I realized the place was basically a junkyard. There was nothing good here. The old man seemed to find me amusing. This stubborn streak of refusing to be ripped off. That, and my shameless will to survive. He said he hadn't seen anything like it in a long time. Just then, I found something. The old man said from behind me, that's just some junk a merchant caravan left behind. I searched for a long time and realized this thing seemed to be the most valuable. There was nothing better than this, even though it was still just a piece of junk. The old man chuckled. You seem to have taken a real liking to that useless thing. That's when I finally asked for his name. He told me he was called Klexi. Klexi, you old geezer. I really hope we never meet again. The old man seemed to be in a great mood. He even joked with me, perhaps we'll be seeing each other again very soon. After leaving that place, I started to examine the hourglass. It probably has about 10 minutes left before it stops working completely. Right now, I'm in the miner's dormitory. I took a deep breath and slowly began to summon the power within me. The next moment, I opened my hand wide, trying to make the object move. But after messing with it for a while, I realized the hourglass wasn't reacting at all. I have no idea if this thing has anything to do with my awakening. Even though it's my first time seeing this hourglass, I have this strange sense of deja vu. It feels like this thing was tailor-made for me. That sense of familiarity is like it's calling out to me. But at the same time, it has a brand new feeling to it. I don't even know what this emotion is. Suddenly, my door was kicked open. So, you're the new little punk, huh? He told me to stop dawdling and get to work. I muttered under my breath, well, if you'd told me where the dorm was in the first place. How could I possibly be dawdling now? And the next second, he sent me flying with a single punch. He told me to shut my mouth, because as I am right now, I have no right to talk back to anyone. Here, if you dare to talk back. Then you better be ready for a beating. I just kept holding it all in. If I wasn't trying to hide my powers, I would have taken him out long ago. The man told me to just shut up and get to work with him. Right now, it seems like anyone can just push me around. But I don't think it'll be long before I can stand up for myself. And when that time comes, I'll make damn sure this scumbag remembers that I'm not to be messed with. After that, I followed him to the entrance of the Sector 3 mine. Park Man-ho had his subordinate hand me some gear. He told me to start mining. And then he added, equipment and food expenses will all be deducted from your wages. Any magicite you dig up, you give to me. I asked him what the daily wage was. I had to get that clear with him first. The next moment, a hammer smashed right through my hard hat. Park Man-ho started yelling, do I have to beat some sense into you with this hammer myself to make you learn? The cost of the helmet will also be deducted from your wages. You better get that through your head. Then he took me to mine shaft number 972. Another man started to say that shaft 972 wasn't ready yet. But before he could finish, Park Man-ho cut him off. If you say one more word, you can go in his place. Then he gave me a direct order. Don't even think about crawling out of there until you found some magicite. Or else I'll kill you. I headed deep into the mine shaft. The foreman said I had really bad luck, showing up right after Park Man-ho had gambled away everything he had. I was a little worried that my soft, delicate skin might get hurt in here. Hearing this, the foreman's hand trembled slightly. You don't have to worry about getting hurt here, because no one has ever gotten hurt here. After that, we arrived at mine number 972. Just as I was getting ready to work, the foreman actually got back in the elevator and shut the iron gate. He said that over 10 people had already gone missing in here. 4 of them were people he knew. No one even knows what happened to them. No wonder the foreman told me not to worry about getting hurt. He just wanted me to die in here. I can't believe he actually left me here all alone. I was furious. Just because I pissed off Park Man-ho, they dumped me in a place like this? As I was cursing out Park Man-ho, the hammer in my hand suddenly slipped. Just my luck, now my only weapon is gone. Then, I started to observe the mine shaft. I was too angry to notice before, but the concentration of magical energy in this underground tunnel is astonishingly high. Is it possible that the others didn't notice? Is it because they're just ordinary people? And the deeper I go, the denser the magic becomes. A normal person would have collapsed from magical overload by now. I have no idea where all this magic is coming from. It didn't take long for me to find a hammer, but unfortunately, the hammer was broken, and my luck is just the worst. Just then, I stepped on something soft, and a huge, dark pit appeared right under my feet. I don't even know how it appeared, but that's not the problem. The problem is, what's down there? If I fall, will I die? The next moment, my body was falling uncontrollably. But besides me, the hammer and helmet landed on the ground the instant I fell. I finally understood what that foreman meant when he said a dozen people had disappeared. After I fell, I passed out. And while I was unconscious, I had a dream. It was a scene from my childhood. I was abandoned by my parents. Eventually, I got so hungry that I stole meat from someone. Because of the theft, I was chased and beaten by a dozen people, until I killed one of them. When I found out his brother was an awakened, I started hiding desperately, running for my life. I've had enough of a mundane life like that. A moment later, I woke up. My head was pounding, and this place, it was so hot. I looked at the ground and realized something wasn't right. Don't tell me it's what I think it is. Did I fall into a portal? If this really is a portal, then that means I'm in a giant maze, and escaping is almost impossible. Suddenly, a pebble fell from above. When I picked it up, it felt hot in my hand. The searing heat made me drop the pebble instantly. Looks like this isn't a dream at all. Even in the new district of Seoul, people have prepared everything they can for dungeons. This must be volcanic ash. It's like scorched sand. If I don't get out of here quickly, my lungs will be finished. Thinking of this, I ripped off my pant leg without hesitation. I need to make a simple mask first. If this maze has an entrance, it must have an exit. The most likely place is that mountain peak, the highest point in this dungeon. If I just stand here, the high temperature and the ash will kill me sooner or later. There are no monsters in sight. This is my chance. I sprinted as fast as I could. A small obstacle like this, I'm definitely not going to give up easily. With a simple leap, I reached the steps on the other side. But it was still dangerous. Suddenly, the step under my feet gave way. Just as I was about to fall into the lava, luckily, my arms were long enough. I grabbed onto the edge. Lava like this doesn't scare me at all. I pushed myself up with both hands. But I felt even more furious inside. That damn Park Man-ho. When I get out of here, he's a dead man. Then, I immediately shut down my anger mode. The more emotional I get, the worse my situation will become. No matter what, I have to survive. I will struggle and fight with all my might. I will find a way out. Looking at the highest peak ahead, I need to make 4 more long-distance jumps to get there. But I absolutely cannot stop. I have to keep moving. I don't need to think. This is a job for my limbs. Then I got into position, ready to sprint. My life will absolutely not end here. But what I never expected was that, beneath this lava, there was actually a monster has its eyes on me, ready to swallow me whole. With a loud clang, the massive monster swallowed me whole. Its body quickly sank back into the lava. Suddenly, the spot where it had just submerged began to bubble. Then, its body started to shake violently, and a huge hole burst open. That was me. I used my ability to blast a hole through it from the inside. I seriously never expected to be able to control volcanic ash. This sand ability has a pretty wide reach. I quickly escaped the danger, but I feel like I'm about to collapse. The environment in this dungeon is even crueler than the monsters. The heat waves and the ash-filled smoke. It feels like my nose is burning from the inside, making it impossible for me to breathe. I feel like I'm about to die. I clenched my fists without even thinking. Just a minute ago, I was saying I could survive. I haven't even been in a relationship yet. Dying like this, it's just so unfair. So even if the Grim Reaper himself comes for my life, I absolutely will not give it to him. The next moment, I began to unleash my ability. I had already come up with a brilliant idea. To lure a crocodile out of the lava and kill it. Then I'd use its hide to cover my body. I was able to punch through the crocodile's hide before, so killing it this time shouldn't be too hard. But just as I was about to make my move, a voice reached my ears. What an interesting ability. Controlling sand. It's truly fascinating. I looked up and couldn't believe my eyes. Why is there another human being here? And an old man, of all people. I saw the old man holding a sword in his hand. Then, his body flipped once in the air. To my utter astonishment, he struck the crocodile's back in a single blow. At that moment, the ground trembled and the lava erupted. The old man's attack was so fierce. I thought my eardrums were going to burst. I couldn't hear a thing. I glanced up at the monster and saw that he'd actually sliced it clean in two. And the old man, he was completely unscathed. This was definitely no ordinary high-level awakened being. He was a true master, on a completely different level. Just then, he slowly lifted his foot and brought it down. He stomped a huge crater into the ground. Now, we're talking about your name. I'll only give you 3 seconds. You'd better answer me quickly. As he spoke, he began to count down. Time quickly reached the second, but I was still in a state of shock. Marveling at his incredible power. After 3 seconds had passed, the old man saw I still hadn't told him my name, so he prepared to kill me right there. But what he didn't know was that the ringing in my ears had just subsided, and I could finally hear him speak. I quickly yelled for him to wait. I don't know what's happening. But please, spare my life. My name is Xian. Whatever's going on, we can talk it out. The old man thought my name was pathetic. Then, he swung his sword, splitting the mountain of lava behind me in two. And then he stated his own name. He's called Day Woden. I had no idea what on earth he was trying to pull. I'm grateful you saved me, but don't you think this is going a little too far? The old man called me an idiot for not even realizing I had fallen into a trap. To protect itself, the dungeon will create another entrance. It releases magic through that breach, and at the same time, drags any nearby creatures into it. That's a trap. Most people go their entire lives without ever seeing one. You've got some rotten luck, kid. But this is all that damn Parkman ho's fault. I asked him how to get out. I couldn't just die in there, right? He told me to focus my magic into my eyes. In a moment, I'll show you exactly why I called you a fool. So I did as he said. I coated my own eyes with my magic. As I carefully sensed my surroundings, a monster suddenly appeared before my eyes. It turns out the old man had been fighting it this whole time. He wasn't threatening me at all. He said it's a magical beast with the ability to turn invisible. Unsuspecting prey is already dead, before they even realize they've been devoured. I can't believe such a huge creature was right in front of me. And I didn't sense a hint of danger. If it weren't for that old man's last sword strike, I probably would have died without ever knowing why. Now that I'm counting, he's already saved me twice. Just how powerful is this man? He's probably stronger than I could have ever predicted. I asked him who on earth he was. But who he is isn't the point. I want to know where the hell this place is. The old man calls this place a dungeon. It's also his hunting ground. As for who I am, you'll just have to witness it with your own 2 eyes. As he spoke, the old man slowly drew the sword from his back. He swung his sword just once towards the mountains ahead. The ear-piercing sound of it slicing through the air felt like it was going to shatter my eardrums. I was stunned. What in the world did that old man just do? It caused all these bird-like monsters to appear in the sky. It was then that the old man said to me, "If you want to live, if you want to prove you still have any value, then fight." The moment the words left his mouth, one of the bird monsters flew right past me. I couldn't believe how fast these things were. If I don't do something now, I'm going to get hurt. But they're flying all over the place, and they're so fast. I can't even get away. And, why are they only attacking my left side? I focused sand at my fingertips, compressing it to create sand bullets. But my attacks couldn't even touch these birds. Instead, I was the one getting torn to shreds. Right now, neither my sand nor my eyes can track the speed of these monsters. If this keeps up, I'm definitely dead. That old man has already saved my life twice. If I die just like this, then I'll really be the fool he called me. Suddenly, I realized something. My ears had been injured again. Because of it, when I looked at the old man, I could only see his mouth moving, but I couldn't hear any sound. I need a way to track the enemy's movements. My eyes just can't keep up. If that's the case, then there's only one way. I have to channel my magic into my eyes, and then stare at the monsters and predict their trajectories. This is all what the old man just taught me. Don't just see with your eyes. You have to see with your magic. Just then, a crow-like monster came charging right for me. But this time, I could clearly see its flight path. With a single wave of my hand, I threw up a shield of sand and blocked the attack. I finally understood. I needed to sense the beast's magic. And your eyes aren't just for seeing, it's about how you use them. When the beast's magic gets close, counterattack along the shortest path, model. So, that old man must have understood this from the very beginning. It was as if he'd already foreseen what was going to happen in the future. This old man is just too powerful. Who in the world is he? The next moment, the old man slashed with his sword. Now this is interesting. It's been a long time since I felt this fired up. With one swing, the crocodile's body tumbled into the lava. But the old man didn't seem satisfied. He still wanted to kill more crocodiles. He swung again. Half. This old man is just unbelievably strong. The monsters here are no match for him at all. In his eyes, these monsters are like carrots in a field, easily chopped down. He even said it was over just as he was starting to warm up. Why have there been so few monsters in the dungeon lately? Listening to him, it seems he's been in this dungeon for many years. When I looked up, all those monsters were already dead at his feet. I was so shocked I couldn't even speak. But then again, this is good. Since he's wiped out all the monsters, that means I can finally get out. But just then, I felt the ground all around me start to tremble. I cursed under my breath. Damn it. Of course, it wasn't going to be as simple as I'd thought. The sound the monster made my ears feel like they were about to explode. The feeling was unbearable. I collapsed to the ground, gagging. I asked the old man, what the hell was that just now? What's going on this time? He said it was the roar of the boss. And the so-called boss is the ultimate leader that every dungeon has. It's the source of this entire region. And that's the very reason the old man came here. When that enormous thing appeared, my eyes flew wide open. The old man, however, looked thrilled. You've finally shown yourself. The next moment, the monster let out a roar. This thing was the so-called Crimson Dragon. Although it's called a dragon, it isn't a real one. It's merely a B-class entity. Still, for a B-class monster, it's incredibly powerful. Especially a Lord type. It's like an awakened class being. The red aura signifies its combat type traits. Just then, the monster unleashed its ice ability. An ice spear shot out from its mouth, heading straight for us. I was scared stiff. That attack was completely insane. However, the old man split the attack with just a single swing. I was standing below, completely unharmed. At that point, my entire worldview began to crumble. Everything I had ever learned was meaningless. In front of that old man, it was all meaningless. His power was beyond my comprehension. Just then, the black dragon's claws slammed down. But its attack couldn't touch the old man, because it simply couldn't land a hit. And just then, the black dragon's wrist twisted back at a bizarre angle and grabbed the old man's body. Then, it opened its massive jaws, preparing to blast the old man with magic. In response, the old man just chuckled. With a single press of his hand, he forced the black dragon's giant mouth shut, and the attack it had just charged up blew up right in its own mouth. The old man smiled and said, "That hurts, doesn't it, Drake? But don't you worry, pain like that will be over in an instant. I will be the one to end it all, because today is the black dragon Drake's funeral." With that, he swung his sword down, slashing the black dragon's body. Hearing the old man say today was the black dragon's funeral, I felt like it was my funeral, too. These lunatics, can't they just talk things out like normal people? Do they really have to fight? I immediately used my sand ability, trying to block the incoming shockwave, and the next moment, I actually managed to stop it. My body was being pushed forward constantly by the shockwave. Just the aftershock alone was this powerful. I can't even imagine what kind of power that old man is facing head-on. The old man laughed maniacally. "This is fantastic, Black Dragon, I could just die for you. To think you could unleash such power." In the old man's eyes, it was like he was playing at an amusement park. With one swing of his sword, he smashed the black dragon's body straight into the lava. The pathetic thing was, the aftershock of the battle was heading for me again. Watching the shockwave get closer and closer, I cursed under my breath. Damn it, this old geezer doesn't give a damn whether I live or die. I quickly threw up a wall of sand to block my face, but I was still sent flying. And the force of the aftershock didn't weaken, sending my body tumbling across the ground several times. As I kept tumbling, I realized I was about to fall into the lava. My expression froze. I'm not going to die here, am I? I just awakened my powers. The strongest killing ability, at that. This would be way too anticlimactic. I haven't even done anything yet. I looked up at the two powerhouses above. Damn them both. How dare they drag me into their fight? I slapped my cheeks hard with both hands to stay conscious, then summoned sand to cushion the space below me. At the same time, the old man's fight was reaching a fever pitch. He had beaten the black dragon's head so hard it was almost flat against the ground. Just then, the black dragon opened its massive jaw. As the old man watched with excitement, it fired a massive shockwave directly at him. The force of the shockwave turned the ground to ash. The black dragon thought, an attack like this should be enough to kill you, right? However, what it didn't expect was, a giant sword descended from above, striking it directly in the chest. The black dragon let out a blood-curdling scream. The old man had spent an entire year crossing this desert just to track the black dragon. Because only its heart could be used to strengthen his sword. And now, it was time for the black dragon to die. The giant sword continuously drained the black dragon's energy. All the blood in its body was being absorbed by the blade. Gradually, the sword turned red. It was as if some kind of seal had been broken. The energy bursting from the giant sword grew stronger and stronger. The broken part of the blade also began to reform. In just a moment, the sword was fully restored. The old man gripped the sword tightly in his hand. My good partner, you've finally returned. And you're many times stronger than before. Just then, I yelled out, hey, you damn old geezer. You keep talking to that sword. Have you lost your mind? But still, you actually managed to defeat that black dragon. You really are a crazy old man, through and through. You're ridiculously strong. The old man seemed surprised that I wasn't dead. To be honest, I was still shaken myself. If I hadn't thought on my feet back there, I really might have died. Looks like I'm pretty tough to kill. I guess I should thank that old geezer for constantly blasting me with shockwaves. It really honed my reflexes. The old man let out a laugh. For a weakling, that was pretty good. I looked up and saw. The sky above started to crack open. This was because the black dragon had died. After that, the dungeon was about to collapse, so we had to get moving immediately. Didn't understand why he was grabbing me. The old man just let out a laugh. Then, with a great heave of his arm, he threw me towards the exit. I cursed, you damn old man. You just wait. The next moment, I found myself in the familiar desert world I knew. I couldn't believe I'd actually made it out of the dungeon. The old man's figure appeared right after me. When a dungeon begins to crumble, a portal exit appears. The old man told me to listen carefully. He needed my ability to control sand. But right now, I was too weak to be of any use. So, he was going to give me a choice. The first choice was to go to the right. That direction led back to Neo Soul. I could go back to living my old life. The second choice was to go with him and become a stronger version of the idiot I am now. I didn't understand why this old man was suddenly saying all this. And how long would I have to go with him? The old man didn't know either. Months, years, maybe even decades. You would never know until that moment arrived. But right now, he needed me to make a choice. Would I return to my former, comfortable life? Or throw myself into a life or death gamble with only a 1% chance of winning? Now, make your choice. I just chuckled. This old man had to be kidding me. It seems this old man really isn't right in the head. You want me to give up my house? My bed? And the roof over my head? Just to cross this burning desert with you? The old man nodded. That's exactly what I mean. So hurry up and make your choice. Since he put it that way, there was nothing left for us to talk about. I walked straight up to him. I'll go with you. That's my choice. I'm the type of person who always gets revenge. But right now, I'm still too weak. I can't get my revenge yet. Oh, and one more thing. Old man, you're on my revenge list too. Of all the people I've ever met, you are the strongest. And I have a feeling I'll never meet anyone stronger than you again. The old man laughed out loud. Looks like you've got a good eye. And I'm sure that if I follow you, I'll become even stronger than you. And one day, I'll kill you. To hear someone say they were going to kill him, especially coming from the mouth of a little brat. The old man just found it somewhat amusing. One day, you'll regret that conviction. Then he stopped messing around with me. You idiot, hurry up and follow me. We have a long way to go. After walking for 10 hours, I realized the old man's pace hadn't slowed at all, but I couldn't keep up anymore. I hoped he would stop and rest for a bit, but the old man completely ignored my request. This was driving me crazy. No matter what I said. Come on, at least answer my question. I'm burning up. I think the temperature here is over 50 degrees. This damn sand makes every step feel like torture. At this rate, I'm definitely going to get heat stroke or die from dehydration. Just then, the old man stopped walking. You're hopeless. You haven't even used 1% of your ability. I didn't understand what the old man meant. He said I could control sand, yet here I was, complaining about how hard it was to walk on it. How pathetic. What the hell does that old geezer know? It was easy for him to say. I only awakened a few days ago. How could I possibly know that much? But to the old man, that didn't matter. Even if you've only been awakened for 1 minute, it's still your ability. Your development of that ability is calculated from the very moment you awakened. But my next words made the old man absolutely furious. I said I was just the weakest F rank, not some high-level awakened old-timer like him. He spun around and got right in my face. Don't you ever say something that's stupid again. Who gives a damn if you're F rank or S rank? Do you think people are just born S rank? Even if they are, that just means they were born lucky. So just because you weren't lucky enough, you're going to give up on life and just drift along? In other people's eyes, you're already incredibly lucky. You're not just lucky, you're practically heaven-defying. You have no idea what your ability truly means. As he spoke, the old man's tone softened a lot. I won't say any more. Stop complaining and start thinking about how to use your power. What good are strong limbs if the brain connecting them is dead? He patted my shoulder. This is your own ability. You should be the one to understand it. You're the only one who can figure out how to break its limits and use it. As he said this, his hand unconsciously clenched into a fist. I didn't know what this sand ability truly meant to him. The next moment, his grip on me was so tight it hurt. If you dare waste this ability, you idiot, I'll kill you. And with that, I began to develop this sand ability. I manipulated clumps of sand, making them float in mid-air. Right now, I can probably control sand within a radius of about 50 meters. Although the range is a bit short, it's enough. If I can solve this problem, I can reduce my stamina consumption. I took a step forward. I compressed and hardened the sand. This way, I could walk as if I were on flat ground. I was very proud of this new skill I developed. I had to show the old man my performance. I don't sink into the sand anymore, and walking feels so easy. But I soon realized something was wrong. Doing this consumed a huge amount of mana. In the long run, this wasn't a sustainable trade-off. So, I focused the mana just under my feet. That way, I wouldn't waste so much of it. And walking was still easy. Listening to my nonsensical chatter, the old man slowly closed his eyes. In the end, the method is simple. This little guy just needs to keep trying. And never give up. That is the privilege of youth. He's still in F rank right now, but in terms of strength and mana control, he's already approaching E rank or even D rank. The old man believed my future potential was immense. Meanwhile, I was immersed in the joy of developing my ability. I caught up to the stinking old geezer in one stride to show him my new skill. I only control the sand right under my feet, and it makes walking super easy. I even taunted him, I bet you can't do this. You can only plod through the sand one step at a time. And you're slower than a snail. The next moment, his loving iron fist came down on my head. If you spout any more nonsense, you can stop following me. If you keep wasting your energy on this useless crap, you're going to work yourself to death. The old man said, time is running out, you moron. You'd be better off talking less and saving your strength. Night fell quickly, and the old man finally saw that I was awake. You useless thing, I wasted so much time taking care of you. But I didn't remember him taking care of me. The stuff he smeared on my wounds wasn't medicine, it was just filth. Just then, I saw him toss me a piece of jerky. The old man told me to eat and listen. It was a story about when he was like me. There was a time when, even if you were weak, even more pathetic than everyone else, you could still survive. People even respected the flame of those who protected the weak. Can you imagine that? But, as you know, this world has changed. For you, this might just be normal, but I've never gotten used to it. If you've decided you want to die, then just lie here and rot like a piece of meat. But if you haven't, then get up on your own. Get on your feet using your own strength, you idiot. He tossed me another piece of jerky. By now, I understood what he meant. I figured it out. He must have been alive for a very long time. But I had no idea how many years he'd lived, or how many memories he held. I even suspected he'd lived for over 100 years, since before the blue star turned into the sand star. And he was still chewing on that same piece of jerky from earlier. In a desert with no water, that was probably the smart thing to do. I wish he'd told me that sooner. I was starting to feel like this old man wasn't just giving me a fish, but teaching me how to fish. Thing is, I'd never even seen a fish before. Then, I asked the old man for another piece. Night was falling. I sneezed. I was finally learning just how cold the desert gets at night. Plus, that crazy old man muttered to himself every day, so I barely got any sleep. It seemed like he was seriously unwell. I was just about to ask him if he had any water. I was so thirsty, when I saw him wring the dew out of his clothes and drink it. That made me furious. That old man was so damn shady, keeping it all for himself. When he slept, he'd spread his clothes out on the sand to let the dew settle on them. All I could do was lick the little bit of dampness on my own sleeves. I wasn't the least bit embarrassed. Just you wait, you crazy old man. I swear, one day I'll get my revenge on you. Just then, he called me an idiot again. That really set me off. I'm not an idiot, I'm a moron, so please, correct me. But the old man had no time for my jokes. Moron, don't you feel that? Something's wrong. Hearing him say that, I froze. That vibration, and it wasn't coming from just one spot. It felt like several. In a matter of seconds, we were surrounded by beasts. The beasts that appeared were bighorn hyenas. They usually hunt at night. Looks like we ran into them right at dawn. The old man probably thought I was going to beg for his help again. But he guessed wrong. I killed one of the hyenas with a single blow. I don't even need the old man's help anymore. With an area of effect attack like this, I feel like I can handle it. The next moment, I formed another sand vortex at my fingertips. With a bang, I sent all the charging hyenas flying. However, another huge pack of them appeared right behind me. In response, I thrust out my hand, and a sand spike sent several more of them flying. I've already killed so many of them, but these hyenas are practically endless. If this keeps up, I'll probably run out of magic soon. I need a plan. Brute force isn't the answer. I need to control my magic more efficiently. I have to master an ability. The ability to fight using less magic. Just as I was thinking, a hyena suddenly bit down on my hand. The pain made me curse out loud. How dare you rush in and bite me while I'm thinking? You damn hyena, a hole. It seems I've got a new vent. I carefully felt the flow of the air. Suddenly, I remembered something, even as the hyenas in front of me kept charging. I need to create a hole. It's a strange kind of hole, though. Not a literal one, but a bloody hole in the hyenas' bodies. How could I have forgotten this move? I can shape sand into thin, spiked columns, and pierce right through these hyenas' heads. At this point, I had gone completely wild. Facing the hyenas before me, I used my sand ability to impale every last one of them. Compared to my struggle over here, the old man seemed to be handling them with ease. Just then, a hyena bit the old man's leg, but its teeth shattered on impact. The old man laughed. Are you little mutts trying to tickle me? He wasn't about to let a dog that bit him live. I told the old man to keep it under control. Hey, try not to let your fight hit me. But the old man couldn't care less. He immediately unleashed his stone rain. As his sword came down, all the hyenas on the ground were sent flying, and all I could do was use my sand to block some of the aftershock. That crazy old man, I was standing right next to him, and he still used such a powerful attack. But when I saw the massive crater in the ground, I froze. Is this guy even human? To be able to do something like that without any special skills. I can't believe he took out all the hyenas in a single move. Just then, the old man was standing on the body of a hyena king. To his surprise, it was a female. That hyena seemed particularly ferocious. It actually unleashed a lightning ability. The old man was a little surprised. Don't tell me this is a ranked one? Looks like your rank is even higher than B class. The next moment, its lightning struck the old man directly. I screamed, look out. Hurry up and dodge, but to my astonishment, the old man actually grabbed the attack. It was as if, in his eyes, the attack was nothing at all. My brain just short-circuited. It seems that for the old man, there was never any danger at all. After getting zapped by the lightning, the old man felt like his bones were even more comfortable. But now, the electrotherapy session was over. Alright, you mangy dog, time to die. The old man's sword fell, instantly ending the hyena's life. I felt so ashamed. To think I was actually worried about that old man for a moment. After the battle ended, the old man noticed I was still alive. Well, that's pretty incredible, the old man said as he pulled the spike from the hyena's head. This thing could be made into a pretty decent weapon. Then, he tossed me a dagger. From now on, he wanted me to hunt for my own food. Don't expect to get a single drop of water or a piece of meat from him. The meat from these hyenas is poisonous, but the meat on their rumps is clean. It's not poisonous, so you can eat it. He told me to stop dawdling, as the sun would be up soon. We had to move faster. 2 hours later, the sun rose as usual. I was eating some jerky, and humming a little tune. This was the life I wanted. My throat was a bit dry, but having enough food to fill my stomach was all that mattered. Plus, thanks to my new skill, sand step, walking was a whole lot easier. I started showing off my ability to the old man. Getting a little jealous, are we? Isn't a man your age pushing himself a little too hard? Not like me, I'm walking so easily. The old man tried to hit me like he did before, but this time I dodged it. I saw it coming this time, but I never expected his right fist to come crashing down from above. I couldn't dodge this one. I took the punch head on. The old man told me not to get so cocky. You learn one decent skill and suddenly you're all high and mighty. That'll get you into trouble, especially in front of me. I told him I was just messing around. Now I'm dying of thirst. And you just had to shove my face in the sand. That was really too much. Just then, I realized the old man was ignoring me. I sensed something was off, too. There seemed to be moisture nearby. I felt a certain coolness on my skin. I even wondered if I was imagining it. But seeing the old man's eyes fixed in the same direction, I knew my guess was right. That meant there had to be something up ahead. An oasis, maybe. Soon, we climbed over a sand dune. When I got to the top, I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe my guess was right. The oasis was real. I'd only ever heard of things like this in stories. Right there, in front of us, was a lake, not too big and not too small. Looks like my throat is saved. I couldn't wait and just charged down the dune. The old man looked at me like I was a complete idiot. But I didn't even notice. I hadn't had a single proper drink of water in days. How could I possibly care about anything else? I plunged headfirst into the pool of water. I just kept drinking from the source of life. The feeling was absolutely incredible. The cold pierced my skin from all sides. In this hellish 50-degree desert, this was the first time in days I had felt cool water on my body. Just as I was lost in my joy, a shadow fell across my vision. An indistinct black shape up ahead gave off a bright light. It felt so warm. Suddenly, my mind felt exhausted. I was getting sleepier and sleepier. From above me, the old man screamed, "You idiot! Wake up! Do you want to get eaten?" He scrambled down towards me as fast as he could. Watching him, I could clearly sense his panic. It turned out that beneath this small oasis, there was actually a much deeper pool, and a monster was opening its jaws, ready to devour me. The old man grabbed my clothes right as that strange fish shot up from under the water. Just in time, the old man yanked my body up, and then in a single step, he moved. How could I possibly let you eat the one apprentice I finally managed to find? You reckless monster. The next moment, with a slight flex of his arm, he struck the strange fish directly with his sword. A huge wave washed over the oasis. I was so scared I was practically frozen stiff. I was almost fish food a moment ago. And then, over this lake, I saw a rainbow. So what they said was true. There really is a light with 7 colors. It turns out this strange fish is called a sandmouth. They use the light on their foreheads to lure in prey, and then swallow them whole. After that, the old man's expression grew more and more solemn. He was furious. He turned and smacked me right on the forehead. Do you have any idea how close you were to being eaten? If it had swallowed you and dragged you into the deep water, even I wouldn't have been able to save you. The old man just kept cursing me out. Where did everything I taught you go? You idiot. You feel a little better and suddenly you think you're invincible? You don't have an ounce of common sense. I quickly nodded my head. To be honest, I knew the old man was only talking like this because he was worried about me. I was very clear on that point. Then, the old man told me to skin it, to peel the skin and flesh off this fish. Because this is a sand throat beast, a C-rank beast. Their uniquely colored hide is soft and elastic, making it the perfect material for a robe. If we cut it off, we can make an item of clothing. I asked him if he needed a robe. The old man's anger had almost reached its breaking point. He roared at me, "How are you getting dumber and dumber? It's not for me, it's for you. You are a complete and utter idiot. There has to be a reason you're this stupid, right? Did someone hit you with a petrification spell last year or something?" The old man's shouting was so loud it made my ears bleed. All I could do was keep saying I was sorry. The old man said there was something off about this fish. Its changes were significant. The fish in the mountains used to be a lot like the fish from ancient Earth. The old man knew I'd never seen a fish before, so he told me to come over and get a good look. And just as he'd said, I had never seen anything so strange. This thing could actually breathe underwater. It was unbelievable, and it looked pretty terrifying, too. The next moment, I started to skin the strange fish with my knife. The old man started yelling at me again. "What are you doing?" Scratching its back. "Here, right?" After struggling for what felt like forever, I still hadn't managed to skin the strange fish. It seems it's tougher than I thought. Well, in that case, I decided to try using my magic to see if I could pierce its skin. To make the knife sharper. Soon, I was able to cut into it. I also cut off the monster's fin to use as a needle. After I had sharpened the fin, I used the fish sinew as thread to sew the clothes. But I quickly discovered that I had failed completely. The clothes I made were something even a beggar wouldn't want to wear. They were tattered and ragged, and they had a disgusting, fishy stench. The old man told me not to rush. He still had plenty of raw materials on hand. In the blink of an eye, night fell again. And I had finally managed to sew a piece of clothing. After failing 8 times, I finally succeeded. Just then, the old man called out to me, scaring me half to death. "This is mine. You can't take it from me again." However, the old man couldn't care less about the clothes I'd mended. He told me to eat this piece of meat. This is a sand throat's gallbladder. It's a rare medicinal ingredient. He told me I had to eat every last bite. The old man even threatened me. If I didn't eat it, I would die. Then, without waiting for me to react, he shoved the gallbladder right at me. Looking at this disgusting thing, I felt like I had no choice. But I pushed that aside. Since the old man said this was a top-grade medicinal ingredient, I might as well eat it. Feeling disgusted is better than being beaten to death. But as I ate, I realized, this thing actually tastes pretty good. It felt like eating clouds. No matter how much I ate, I never felt full. Just then, the old man called out with amusement, "Eating that fast is going to cause problems. It's about time. Are you starting to feel a burning sensation?" He had a smug look on his face. And soon, I felt like all my organs were on fire. I immediately knew something was wrong. What in the world is happening? Why is my body burning? This heat is already far beyond what I can handle. If this keeps up, I think I might explode. And my magic is completely out of control. But the old man didn't seem to care. He just told me to endure it. Everything in this world is like a fleeting oasis. Never existed, and even if it did, the great shark will be reborn and the cycle will begin anew. Such is the endless loop of life. How could I listen to his philosophical nonsense? I'm about to be burned to a crisp. You should save me first. I can only listen to your great truths after you've saved me. The old man gave me a cool glance. He had no intention of saving me. Besides, there was nothing he could do to save me anyway. The flames raged with such intensity, and then the old man just went to sleep. When I woke up again, it was already the next morning. The old man gave me a slight smile. So, you're finally awake? You idiot. I told him not to just pop up and scare me like that. You could give someone a heart attack. And another thing, I wasn't sleeping, I passed out. It's all your fault, you damn old man. You just left me to die last night. As I was shouting, I realized my body wasn't hot anymore. In fact, I felt full of power. My muscles felt as hard as rock. And my magic was roaring like a storm. Could it be that thing was really what the old man said it was? A top-grade medicine? I asked the old man what was going on. Why have I suddenly become so strong? He said it was all thanks to the sand-throat gallbladder. For those who cross the desert, it's a priceless treasure. It grants people the power to resist the blazing sun and sandstorms. To a caravan, its value is comparable to a magic stone. I can't believe this old man was so generous. To actually give something so precious to me. The old man told me not to get so sentimental. I only gave it to you because you're pathetically weak. Since I'm dragging you all over the place, you at least have to be useful for something. At a minimum, you need the ability to protect yourself. I've already let go of the grudge I had against the old man for leaving me to die yesterday. In fact, I should even thank him for it. Just like that, it was noon. The old man patted the skeleton of the strange fish. I can't believe this fish was so big. It's rare to get a full meal. Then he told me to get dressed and keep moving. At that, a smile crept across my face. Yes, sir. Let's get going then. I found that I was becoming more and more obedient to the old man. We walked for half a month straight. Today, a sandstorm appeared in front of me. Thanks to my abilities, this sandstorm was nothing more than a cool breeze to me now. But the old man didn't have powers like mine. And yet, he walked through the center of the sandstorm as if it were flat ground. Maybe it's a midlife crisis or something. I've already been following him for 2 weeks. Does this guy even know where he's going? It feels like he has no clear direction at all. I suspected the old man might be lost. Just as I was cursing him for being an idiot, a giant ant appeared behind me. But I wasn't the least bit panicked. I raised my hand, pointed, and used my sand powers to kill it. You'd better quiet down, little ant. Gradually, as I continued to follow by the old man's side, I too began to learn the ways of the strong. Just then, I noticed some movement behind me. It seems its carapace is pretty tough. But that didn't seem likely anymore. At this moment, according to my senses, several ants were crawling toward me. In response, I no longer felt any pity for them. Since you want to fight, then I'll give you a quick and painless death. As I slammed my palm down, sand and dust flew up from the ground. After I blew the surface sand away with a shockwave, all of the ants were revealed. It was time for my hunt to begin. I can't always rely on the old man's protection. I used a single sandstorm and finished them off. To me, the sound of that explosion was truly beautiful. In any case, I like days with sandstorms. As far as the eye could see, there was nothing but yellow sand. I turned my head and saw that stinking old geezer was already far ahead. At this rate, he was going to leave me behind. I feel like this old man has zero team spirit, still wandering around alone at his age. I quickly ran to catch up with him. But just at that moment, my heart suddenly lurched. Ever since I started following the old man, I had never once let my guard down. Because of that, I could react immediately whenever a beast appeared nearby. But what I just sensed was different. It wasn't simple animal instinct. There was definitely something big beneath me. The next second, the ants inside the sand were blasted out. The huge commotion made me feel my guess was even closer to the truth. I cursed under my breath. Damn it, just how many ants are under this sand? I looked at the old man in the distance and saw him sitting up high, quietly watching the show. I held back from calling for his help, because I couldn't be like a child who always blindly asks their elders for help. The next moment, I unleashed my sand powers and began to fight these ants. I had finally figured it out. There's no way the old man didn't see the ants underground, but he didn't do a thing. He didn't warn me, either. That alone was enough to prove one thing. He was giving me a task. With a sweep of my hand, countless sand spikes shot toward the swarm of ants. But just at that moment, the ant at the very front somehow broke through my attack range and got right in front of me. Luckily, I managed to dodge it skillfully. How dare these damn ants surround me? And I have no idea how many of them are down there. If it were one-on-one, I wouldn't be afraid of them at all. But unfortunately, there was no way they would ever fight me one-on-one. I came up with a brilliant idea. I would use the sand to create a set of stairs. As I kept rising into the air, I felt like I'd fallen right into an anthill. There were so many ants that I couldn't possibly kill them all. I had to get to a higher point to see what was going on below. Luckily, those ants can't fight in the air, but suddenly, my body felt like it was yanked by some incredible force. I couldn't believe these ants had actually caught up to me from behind. They had actually linked together, one by one, to form a long rope. It was so absurd I thought it had to be a joke. They can't fly, yet they managed to reach mid-air through teamwork. The next second, that ant gave a powerful tug and yanked me straight out of the sky. My body slammed heavily onto the yellow sand. The force of the massive impact made my insides churn. These damn ants. To think they injured me this badly. I looked at the old man with an almost pleading gaze. If he would just help me, I could escape in an instant. But then, a thought struck me. A wide grin spread across my face. I wasn't looking at him to ask for help. I wanted him to watch closely. To watch how I was going to survive this. The old man chuckled. Now that is the proper attitude for the strong. You fool. In this world that has turned to desert, your ability is an unparalleled gift. Of course, you could have used that power to live an enviable life. But if you had done that, that's all it would ever amount to. Those brain-dead fools don't even know why the world became like this. They just lose themselves in illusions. An awakened one is a being who must inherently master, apply, and evolve their own skills. Not be standardized by some damn factory. The old man still couldn't forget what had happened back then. So the old man really had lived for over 100 years. He had witnessed the world's destruction with his own eyes. Back then, the old man had been completely helpless. His comrades, his family, they all died in that explosion, including his daughter. He wasn't able to protect a single thing. But I'm different, because I have the potential to become anything. He wants me to dive headfirst into the line between life and death. And the result is that I'll become stronger. Just like I am right now. Constantly growing. And just then, I developed a new ability for my sand. I let out a wild laugh. You ants. You can feel it too, can't you? You're all going to die. A huge wave of sand buried the ants. This is my newly developed ability, hyper-compressed sand bomb. Now you damn ants can just wait to be blown to bits by me. On its own, it's the simplest, most foolish thing. But, if I take gravity, impact force, and every ounce of power I can muster and compress it all together, it will unleash a terrifying force. Bang! That sweet sound of an explosion is just so satisfying. With this, all of these ants are finished. I can't die here, not before I've gotten stronger. The old man laughed. This kid is getting carried away again. I didn't even look at the ants in front of me, just kept blasting away with my sand bullets. Seeing this filled me with joy. The feeling of getting stronger is truly exhilarating. But just as I was about to show the old man my battle results, I was ambushed by an ant. A wave of panic hit me. I was way too careless. I definitely can't get cocky again. I noticed this ant was a bit different from the previous ones. This ant was bulkier, and its strength was greater too. Most importantly, I hadn't sensed its presence at all just now. How could a piece of trash like this possibly use a high-level skill like stealth? And I could also sense poison on this ant. No wonder my magic has been draining uncontrollably. It's a poison that's blocking my mana channels. These damned bugs. But this little trick isn't nearly enough to take me down. The next moment, I was dragged underground by the ant. I groggily opened my eyes and found I was in an ant nest. I knew this was bad. On the surface, I might have had a chance to escape, but down here, there's almost no way out. I noticed something moving slowly towards me. I turned my head to look. They were larvae. The larvae slowly crawled onto my arm. Their two sharp fangs bit directly into my flesh, but I couldn't move my body at all. If this keeps up, I'll be eaten alive. It seems I've reached my limit. It was like my life was flashing before my eyes. Am I really going to die? Just then, another bug came scurrying over quickly, afraid it wouldn't get a bite. The next moment, it was smashed to pieces. This scene shocked the large ant above. I slowly pushed myself to my feet. Cold laugh escaped my lips. Insects like you, I'll finish you off soon. At the same time, another golden stripe appeared on my arm. The next instant, an immense power erupted from the ground where I stood. Countless grains of sand began to rise from the earth. It wasn't just where I was. Anywhere in this cavern, a torrent of sand could erupt. Since they brought me into their nest, I'll just have to destroy their home. Soon, most of the nest was destroyed by me. And this was the compression skill I had just learned. As I used this terrifying explosive power to destroy the ants, I noticed my ranking had gone up. Furthermore, my stamina and magic were overflowing. I even suspected I had evolved. My strength and magic were on a completely different level from when I was F rank. But even so, that huge creature behind me was still completely unscathed. The giant black ant charged straight at me. I quickly created compressed projectiles, ready to throw them all. Let's see just how tough this guy's head is. Bang, bang, bang. The series of explosions still couldn't harm the giant ant. I felt like I was going crazy. At this rate, I can't beat it. No matter how I attack, I can't even leave a single scratch. I forced myself to calm down. I had to think carefully. about how to defeat its unbreakable armor. Then, I thought of a way to tear it off, rather than trying to break it. I wasn't trying to tear it to shreds. The next moment, a storm brewed out of thin air. The ant's body was right in the center of my sand ability's range. If I can't break through its defense, then I'll just twist it and rip its limbs off. The ant let out a pained shriek. And just then, a piercing sound came from its mouth. I knew this was bad. This situation was completely beyond my expectations. What the hell is this thing? Sound seems to be a high-frequency vibration. If this keeps up, my eardrums might get shattered. Right now, this whole cave is the ant's territory, so the sound can echo endlessly. I can't believe this damned ant was hiding a move like this until the very end, but this only served to ignite my will to fight. It's either you die first, or I do. Either way, it's you or me. Those are the only two outcomes. Let's just see who can hold out the longest. At that moment, my sand was continuously churning its body. Soon, its shell began to crack. I let out a roar, pouring every last bit of my magic into the attack. I have to kill this ant. Suddenly, it felt as if something inside me had snapped. My body started to tilt. I didn't know what was happening. Why can't I control my own body? Don't tell me I've already reached my limit. I cursed myself again. I'm so useless. Even my body is this incredibly weak. But just as I was about to collapse, a pair of large hands caught me. The old man let out a hearty laugh. If you fall asleep here, your face will freeze stiff. You won't look very good with facial paralysis. I can't believe this old man has the nerve to be so carefree. His one and only apprentice is about to die, and he's still here making jokes. The final act is all yours, you old geezer. You arrogant brat. I guess you're not entirely useless after all. Managing to hold on this long. This ant is C rank, you know. It's much stronger than you. And yet, on the brink of death, you didn't give up. You struggled until the very end. You did well. You've earned the right to live. All I could see was the old man's mouth, flapping on and on and on. I couldn't hear anything else. Because it felt like my eardrums had already ruptured. But the old man didn't seem to care about my ruptured eardrums at all and just lifted me up with one hand. I tried to ask him where he was taking me. Then, the old man carried me as he shot upwards. There was a purple orb in front of me. I asked the old man what on earth it was. It looked strangely beautiful, but he paid no attention to me. After all, I couldn't hear a word he said anyway. Then, the old man pointed to the wall, gesturing for me to look for myself. I saw the old man right on the wall. This is the queen's soul. It's an excellent medicinal herb to prevent a repeat of what happened with the gallbladder last time. I decided to confirm with the old man. This thing won't corrode my insides, will it? The old man said that eating this thing could kill me, but from my perspective, I couldn't make out what he was saying because my eardrums were shot. I figured it would probably be fine. It's not like one bite is going to kill me, right? So I just ate it. I didn't expect it to be strawberry flavored. I thought it was delicious, so I turned and asked the old man if he had any more. I wanted to have a couple more, but just then, my eyes suddenly shot wide open. Then, my body was pierced through. I was so stunned I couldn't figure out what was happening. It turns out the effect of this thing is intestinal reversal. Literally, your intestines twist and flip over on their own. The queen ant's eggs are a fatal poison. Even a trace amount will force all your internal organs to twist and flip. In short, the victim's organs get tangled, twisted, and contorted until they die. I started screaming at the old man. What the hell is this? What the hell did you feed me? The old man told me to be quiet. That if I want to survive in this crazy world, I'd better get used to it. For some reason, I was actually able to hear what he just said. But, how could I possibly get used to this? The next moment, I violently coughed up a mouthful of blood. I knew I was done for. My shitty life was finally coming to an end. But in the end, I guess I really am just an idiot. This old man was never trustworthy. With a thud, my body collapsed heavily onto the ground. The old man then flexed his wrist and thrust his palm deep into the ant's body. He rummaged around inside, and a moment later, pulled his hand out. In it was a blue, orb-like object. As expected, the magic stone from this kind of beast is on a whole other level. Looks like I've really hit the jackpot this time. The old man also figured these ants could be useful, so he decided to pack them all up and take them with him. Then, he looked at the sword beside him. The blade was letting out a faint hum. My friend, I know he is in great pain right now, but there is nothing we can do. If he is weak, he will die. That is the entirety of his fate. He then slung the sword onto his back. Old friend, you haven't forgotten, have you? We don't have much time left. I don't know how much time had passed, but I slowly opened my eyes. The old man was looking at me with a smirk. So the little guy's finally awake. I really thought you were going to die. The next instant, I immediately unleashed my sand ability, striking at him. The old man kept retreating. What's with that look? What are you trying to do? What are you flailing around for? You're kicking up dust everywhere. Are you trying to choke me to death? Then, as he looked up, he realized something was wrong. How interesting. Looks like you're getting serious too. Right in front of him, I used my sand ability. I created more than 30 sand bullets. My intention was obvious. You fool, don't get so cocky. As my attacks rained down, I screamed at the old man, questioning his very soul. You damn old man, why did you try to kill me? However, I got no answer. But by then, my rage was already boiling over. There was absolutely no way I could ever forgive this old man. You rotten old man, why do you want to kill me? However, I didn't get an answer. But by this point, I was boiling with rage. There was absolutely no way I could forgive this old man. My ability to control sand softened the spikes of the nest, which meant the spikes would fall from above, and my sand would then control them. These spikes shot toward the old man as I unleashed more than 10 of my ultimate attacks in a row. It left me panting for breath, but the old man was completely unharmed. He even called me an idiot and asked what the hell I thought I was doing. The old man slowly said, "Quantity." But did you really not use your brain to think at all? The fact that he was perfectly fine left me completely stunned. Those last few attacks were everything I had, and they didn't even scratch him. The old man sighed. You fool, a single punch from me would kill you on the spot. So why would I need to poison you? Hearing him put it that way, I felt like what the old man said actually made some sense. It turned out the ant queen's eggs were a lethal toxin that could corrode my organs. But they could also draw out all the impurities and trace toxins from my body. Depending on how it's used, it can either be the world's deadliest poison or the best medicine. It would cleanse all the filth from my body and let my magic fill the space. I'd already felt that during our fight. Just as the old man said, my magical power had increased several times over. Hearing this, my heart was filled with emotion, and tears started to well up in my eyes. I threw myself into his arms. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you. I must have been crazy to doubt you. I was crying my heart out because I knew attacking the old man was a fatal mistake. If I didn't act like a small child and bawl my eyes out, he probably would have beaten me to death. The old man told me to dry my tears. You're an adult now, don't cry like this. I said, no, I'm psychologically traumatized. Just then, the sword on the old man's back let out a faint hum. It was communicating with him. My old friend, I know what you mean. The only reason this little brat survived is because he's a lot tougher than he looks. If he can't get stronger quickly, I'll be out of excuses. I'm betting on some really terrible odds. Then, the old man picked me up. Time to get moving. I asked him what he was grabbing me for now. The old man just smiled. We're running out of time. Don't you think we should get out of here? A sense of foreboding suddenly washed over me. At the same time, on the surface above, a shockwave erupted, and the old man and I emerged from below. You old geezer, do you only know how to use brute force? Couldn't you have just used the normal exit? The old man told me to shut up. We're lucky we got out at all. You're too weak right now. If you keep on like this, you'll never even get married. The old man stopped mid-sentence, his attention captured by something up ahead. I looked up curiously, but the scene that followed made my eyes fly wide open. What the hell is that? The old man dragged my body along as he leapt slowly in that direction. A turtle. I had never seen such a huge turtle before. Just looking at it was terrifying. The old man said it was a mobile fortress. Archelon. Its original form is a turtle type, B-class magical beast. Its defense even surpasses S-class. They hollowed out the turtle shell and reinforced it, and they ride it like a fortress. I was absolutely astonished. That insane monster. To think they're actually able to ride it around. So the world is this vast. I really was just a frog in a well. The old man said this is nothing, and that I'll see things far more shocking later on. Just then, the turtle glanced at us. The sight of its enormous eyes sent a chill down my spine. Then, with a loud crash, someone jumped down from above. Another old man appeared before us. He really knows how to make an entrance. The man spoke slowly. So many people around here. At first, I wasn't sure. But it really is you. I was about to use my sand to fight him, but the old man stopped me. If you want to die, go right ahead.